Good morning. Let me say that my meditation has been all over the place this morning, from a multitude of thoughts and ideas to stillness. And when I came to the computer, I still had no definite idea what I was going to talk about. It took me till about, almost 20 after 4 before I even decided upon a title. And that title is 2012, Waking Up the Masses. To me, it's a given that most people still do not have a clue about how the world really works. I see it in my own circle of friends, especially those in my spiritual community. It breaks my heart that so many are unwilling to do the research necessary to learn the truth, instead of swallowing the lies we are fed by our media. Yesterday, an article, "Where Does the Fraud Begin?" was posted on my Facebook wall. If only people would take time to read this, it could make things change so much more quickly for our human family. Here's the link to that article and more, and of course that will be posted on YouTube and on Facebook. And it draws, the page that it links to has many things on it, and it's actually a sales pitch by a company to get an audit, and a forensic audit on your financial world, on your financial dealings. And I want to make it clear that I'm not recommending that anyone spend the $749 that's recommended on that page. It's much more important to me that we arm ourselves with the truth, and that we're willing to do whatever is necessary individually to liberate ourselves from the morass into which we have become entrapped. I'm convinced with all of my heart that changes are coming. I'm also aware that they are not coming as quickly as I would like them to come. Things that I have known to be true for many years now, most still are unaware of, which is why some of my friends can say, "Ron, you brought this on yourself. If you weren't doing the things you're doing, they'd leave you alone." Yeah, they probably would, and we'd all be enslaved if it wasn't for people like me that are taking a stand. But people like me that take a stand have to pay a price that we wouldn't have to pay if most people would wake up and do what's right and learn truth and stand in truth, because truth is where the lights come on. That's how we turn the lights on, by telling the truth. We live in a world that is fed propaganda by those that have the wealth. And don't get it wrong, folks. The financial scam is the heart of all injustice on this planet. Of everything that's wrong in our world, it is the central banking institution in every place. The World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the Federal Reserve, the central banks of all the countries in Europe, the City of London, the Crown, the Vatican Bank. All of these things is where all of the fraud and the enslavement of humanity comes from. It all stems from that. All of the abuse of military, the abuse of police forces, the abuse of security forces around the world is bought and paid for by the very people perpetrating the fraud and enslaving the masses. What does it take to wake people up? When are people going to see? Why do people like me and others that are peaceful people, that are advocating peaceful solutions, why do we have to be abused by a system in order to wake people up, and it doesn't even wake people up? It breaks my heart. It literally breaks my heart. Because I know that if we could stand together for 1 week, if the human race could get on the same page, not the 99%, but the 99.9%, that's probably more accurate. If we could get on the same page and recognize for 1 week the truth of what I'm saying, that the financial fraud is the root of all the evil on earth, and we would stand up and let that truth be known and demonstrate that we know the truth. Not fight anybody, just demonstrate. We know the truth and we're not going to take it anymore. We're not going to take the lies anymore. We're not going to take the deception. We know the truth. We know what you've been doing to us. And we're not going to take it anymore. If we could do that for 1 week, solidify, can we do it? What trigger mechanism is it going to take to cross that threshold and to reach that tipping point, that 100th monkey, where we shift everything? I believe it's happening, but I haven't seen it yet happen. Not in the 3D world, not in the world where I live. And so I still have to do things because of threat of pain and threat of incarceration and violence against my person. I still have to do things that I'd rather not do, but I have to. Not because I want to, not because it's right, but because I do not want to put my body on the line if I can help it. I don't want to do that. I don't want to experience ever again what I experienced a week ago today. Not ever again. Where I'm deceived by the smooth talking of a man in uniform who makes me think he's there to talk here at my house, to talk to me about my spiritual center and about my belief system. That wasn't it at all. It was total deception for me to let my guard down, and I fell for it. And I hope you realize that hear me, not to fall for these things. Don't speak to the police. Right now, we have to consider them our enemy. We have to consider our government the enemy, because they are drawing paychecks from those that are enslaving humanity, those that are committing crimes against humanity. They are not our friends. I'm not saying any of them individually is a bad person. I'm not saying they're bad, but they are deceived because the masses continue to be deceived. The majority of people here in the United States still live in their comfort zone. And I don't blame people for not wanting to be injured. I don't want to be injured. But I'm not going to shut up. If they have to kill me to shut me up, that's what they have to do. Because as long as I have breath, as long as I have the ability to speak, I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak out, and I'm going to tell the truth about how I feel and about what I perceive going on in the world. Do I have all the answers? No, I don't. You know I have never claimed to have all the answers. In fact, on the contrary, I've admitted time and again that I don't. I was talking to my friend Tony yesterday, and I was saying, the more I know, the less I'm willing to say I know for sure. There's lots of ideas out there on on our origins and on extraterrestrials and on civilizations and that we don't know about. There's so much that I don't know. I was listening to uh, a new, no, I thought I had it here on my, oh yes it is, there it is. James Horak was, somebody told me about James Horak, and I listened to some of his radio interviews yesterday as I was laying down and resting during some rest periods. Interesting man, James Horak. Do I know if what he's saying is the truth? I don't know. There are things that I hear that I'd like to believe are true. Things that Drake says, things that Tim Turner says, things that some of the other visionaries have said, Drunvalo and others. I'd like to believe that some of the good that these people talk about is actually going to come into our reality. But do I know how? Do I know when? Do they know how? Do they know when? They have ideas. I have ideas. What's the truth? What's it going to take to wake up the masses for us to realize that we are all together in this thing? And those that want to control and enslave us have no power if we would simply wake up and stand in the truth. What's it going to take to wake up the people that are complacent and apathetic? What's it going to take? I wish I knew the answer. So these are the things that are on my heart this morning, and I'm not going to talk much longer. I'm pretty much at the end of what I'm going to say. But I ask each of you to do whatever you can in your world to help wake up at least a few people a week. Present them with something. Say, please, please, will you at least read this? Will you at least watch this video? Will you at least be willing to become aware of how the problem really is in our world? And again, folks, it's understanding the monetary system, because money and our monetary system is the root of all evil. I leave you with these thoughts, and I ask each of you to do whatever you can to help your friends and family and neighbors awaken. Namaste.